beautiful people. I hope y'all are doing well. If you can't tell, I just woke up. She is fresh cup of coffee. My face is kind of swollen because my sinuses have been insane. So I'm just looking at myself like, damn girl, you look like you had a rough week. I did. Today is June 7th. It is Friday. And this is my first day of freedom from education. Our last day of school was yesterday. Hello, Ellie. We finished up with school. And thank God. I've kind of just disappeared from everywhere because I had to pick. I couldn't focus on everything that I need to do for the kids and maintain 2 channels. I couldn't maintain 1 channel. I was exhausted. I was coming home just ragged. Me and mom have been going through it, trying to get these kids ready to test, trying to get them ready for all of the things on top of what we've already been doing. And it's hard being in education because they're constantly moving goalposts. It's like they don't want these kids to have any confidence. They don't want them to be successful. So we have been counting our wins as wins because our kids have made growth in so many areas, and fuck standardized testing. Honestly, fuck standardized testing. So I have not really been able to read with the intensity that I usually do. Hello, Hankapoo. How are you? Would you like to say hi? No. Say hello. Hi, my baby. You're so nosy. Look, I'm never alone, ever. So I haven't really been able to read with the intensity that I usually do, but I have been reading. And so today I just wanted to do a reading vlog. I'm going to try to do as much as possible. I'm going to attempt to do a 24-hour reading vlog challenge. So it's about 9:30 out here right now while I am filming this. So I'm gonna make breakfast with you guys, and we're just going to work on some reading. I have so many good things that I am like halfway through or that I've been trying to start and haven't been able to. So on audio, I'm currently listening to The Housemaid by Freida McFadden, and that is a thriller suspense. So far, I'm enjoying it. It's my first foray into Freida's work because everyone's been telling me I need to get into your girl, Freida. On top of that, I have all of these. Is that not a beautiful stack? Let's talk about it. I'm going to do a full review of the series because I picked up book 1 at the library, and after that just had to just straight up buy everything off of Amazon because the cliffhanger, it was cliffing. The Bonds That Tie series by Bree. I am currently almost finished with book 5, Tragic Bonds, and I have been gobbling it up. I blew through the series this month, and if it weren't for the fact that I had so many things going on, I probably would have finished the entire series. I have this one and the last one to go. The last one is Unbroken Bonds, and the covers are just beautiful. There we go. So I'm excited to continue this series. I have like a couple chapters left on Tragic Bonds, so I figured I would finish Tragic Bonds this morning and probably start working on Unbroken because I know this is going to end with a cliffy. I am almost 50% through Eternally Cursed by January Rayne. This is a paranormal romance. It's an awesome blend of fantasy and smut. We have a tortured werewolf and an elf. And in this one, we are going between worlds. So there is a lot to take in with this book, but it has been so good. There have already been so many points in this book where I have shed a few tears because Anwill's story is just, it's a tragic one. So I've really been enjoying this. Wanted to work on getting through this today. That I want to start. One was on my TBR. I still haven't been able to get to it. This is book 1 in the Beast of Gadamora series by Elizabeth Stevens, Dark City Omega. I have been trying to get down with the Omegaverse, and I just haven't I haven't had time to start. And then you guys know, like when you're having a rough time, or not even a rough time, but just when you're really busy and you're stressed, hi sweetie, you tend to go to genres or like things that comfort you. And so I haven't been in like the state to start something new as far as genre goes. So I'm excited to start this. It's giving she's running, they're chasing, and I fucks with it. There is already another book out in this one. It came out last month or the month before last. And I can't remember what the name of that one is, but I will put a picture of the cover right here. It is absolutely stunning, the same way that this one is. Lore of the Wilds. I finally got this from the library. And now that it is summer, I want to make sure that I am going through my library books. I've been going to the library, but a lot of them I haven't been able to finish. I usually pick up like 1 to 10 books from the library and can blow through almost half of them by the end of the month, but I've only been able to finish like 1 or 2 from my hauls, so I've been slowing down on how many books I get from the library. But this is a 2024 YA fantasy release, and I'm really excited. An abandoned library with a deadly enchantment, a Fey Lord who will do anything to get in, a brave human woman, a collector of stories, willing to risk it all for a taste of knowledge and power. So I am hyped to get into this. So I'm thinking around the end of the day, I will probably work on my newer reads. And I just want to see how far I can get. I have done something like similar to this over on my other channel during an old book and breakfast, but I've never done one just the video on its own. So we'll see how it goes. I have my coffee with my favorite creamer, white chocolate raspberry. It's bomb. And we're gonna get cooking. I have been trying to be more mindful about what I'm eating, especially at home. I have this tendency where I get so tired that I just get things that I can just throw in the oven or the microwave. And I'm trying to be better. I'm good about what I eat at work, but when I get home, I'm so tired I don't feel like cooking. So I have been making a point to buy as fresh as possible, so I have to cook it. So I think I'm gonna do an omelet today. I have some greens. I have some really beautiful portobello mushrooms, and some huge green onions that I got from the farmer's market. So I'm going to cook up an omelet, and we are gonna sit down and get started with our morning reading. Alright guys, of course, while I am cooking, I am still going to be reading. I have 2 audiobooks that I'll be working on during this vlog, so when I'm not on camera, that's what I'll be listening to. The first is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, and this is a psychotic thriller / suspense novel featuring an ex-convict newly working as a live-in housemaid who was noticing that some things just ain't fucking right. So far, so good. I'm enjoying it. It's feeling, a little Lifetime movie network-ish, but I don't mind it. And then I'm also working on How to End a Love Story by Yuling Kwong. This is a contemporary romance about 2 writers, a YA author and a screenwriter, who have an incredibly tragic past and are finding their ways to love one another. So that's what I'm listening to while I do all this good old cooking. Alright, y'all. Got my food. Mushrooms, onions, greens, feta. She came out a little ugly, but I don't care. And some berries because gotta eat up that fruit. And I'm gonna go ahead and finish this bad boy. Let's get into it. Hello. So it is currently 12:30, so it's been about 3 hours. I finished Tragic Bonds, y'all. I knew something was missing. Like, I knew that there was... Come here. Come on. My dogs, if y'all could tell in the video, they have been a hot mess. They're not used to me being home now. Like, I could feel that, like, there was something going over my head. I'm like, we still haven't touched everything here. Like, there's still things that we haven't discussed, but I still didn't see that happening, and I still have a lot of questions. But the last book is like 400 plus, I think almost 500 pages. So there's still a lot to unpack here. This has been such a good series, even though I do feel like there are some pacing issues. Not necessarily plot holes, but just pacing, you know. But overall, it's been really good. It took me a moment after finishing Tragic. So I started on... Hello, Hank. They're being such big babies. They also know I'm not feeling good, so they're swarming. And I am on chapter 3 of Unbroken. I just took some medicine, so I'm going to let that settle in. And I'm going to take a little bit of a nap because all of this is just really, really hurting. And then I'm going to come back. I'll probably read a little bit more of Unbroken and then start on Eternally Cursed because I really want to get through some of that. All right, y'all. I'm back. I'm awake. I feel so much better now. I even sound better. I did like some heat on my face and I took my medicine, all that good stuff. And now I'm getting ready to eat because it is almost 3 o'clock. Time goes by fast. So I just fixed a nice little summer salad. Got a bit of greens, arugula, is it baby red, and then there's some romaine in there as well. I have some of my berries in there, blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, roasted walnuts. I just pan roasted them on the stove. And then some more feta. We're just sticking in line what we got. And I picked up this blackberry splash vinaigrette from the farmer's market this weekend. So I'm going to dress with that. And I feel like that should be a vibe. And I'm gonna get right back into this baby. So I am going to read through chapter 5 because I have the feeling that it's gonna slow down just a little bit. And then I'm going to go right into Eternally Cursed. Let go. Well, that did not go as planned. It's been 2 days, so it was 3 days later. I just ended up having a bit of a mental health breakdown. And I needed to just be away from everybody and everything. Being on camera when you're like, that is not a good thing. So I haven't been reading because obviously, like, once I got towards the end of the day and then like shit started going down, like that was it for me. Like I just, just the thought of moving the next day felt excruciating. So I'm back. I'm better. Things are calmer. I've been taking the day purging my space and all of that. But I do still plan to continue this reading vlog. So I'm in the process of cleaning right now. I'm getting my little reading corner cleaned out. So we're gonna continue on with this baby. I have gotten through like over 100 pages of Unbroken bonds, and so far I'm really enjoying that. I'm happy that Tragic and Unbroken took a I would say a formulaic turn from what was in the series before, because it was kind of getting predictable, and how like you would get to the end of the book and then like shit would start going down, and like you just kind of knew. You know what I'm saying? I like the way that we're going into this last book, and it feels like we're actually going to get an ending that is going to be solid. Like, it's going to make you feel good. I also finished another 100 pages of Eternally Cursed, because I need to work on that book. I feel like when I'm reading it, I be in it, and I feel like I'm reading, you know what I'm saying? But then I realize it's only been like 30 pages. That book is long. It's like 600 something pages, which, look, I love a long book, okay? So that's not me complaining about it being long. It just, there's a lot to take in. It's between two worlds. Right now they're in a different world, and actually it's not even really between two worlds. It's like between three at this point. And so there's a lot to take in. There's a lot to process. So while I'm waiting for all of my things to finish in the laundry, I'm going to work on more of the two that you have seen me reading already. And then when you see me back on camera, we're going to be in my little reading nook, and we are going to start Dark City Omega and Lore of the Wilds. I'm excited. Alright, y'all, it is late. We are in the reading corner. I can't sleep, so I'm up doing what it do. I still look so just... I'm so tired of being stuffy and gross. But I did, if you guys are wondering what tea I made, I mixed my Sleepy Time Sinus Soother. I found this at the store this past week. It has been a godsend. And I also brewed it with some mullein leaf tea. Mullein is great for like helping to pull like all of the grossness, the mucus, all that stuff. So I need that. So that's what we got going tonight. Okay, so I am 50 pages in, made it to chapter 5. I'm going to stop here because the sleepy time part of the sleepy time tea is doing its thing. This is really good so far. This is really good so far. We have creatures that are new to me as far as like fantasy worlds go, so that makes me like really excited. But this dynamic, I love it. Echo is feisty as fuck, and she is not the submissive Omega that she is supposed to be, and I love that. And this Berserker, I'm trying to like, he is like big and burly and like wild, and yeah, I fucks with it. I fucks with it heavy. So I'll probably pull up and do like one more sprint for this vlog and come back and talk to you guys about everything I read. Y'all, let's go ahead and close out this reading vlog. Throughout this reading vlog, I finished, well, technically, I finished 4 books. One was one that I was already working on, and the last 3 were 3 that I started while we were doing the reading vlog. So let's start off with the things that I finished. you guys already know I had to finish the Bonds That Tie series by Bree. Bomb. I know a lot of people felt like the last book wasn't like epic enough, but I feel like it wrapped everything up the way it needed to. There were some things that felt like they ended like a little too perfectly, you know what I'm saying? But at the same token, it just didn't feel like it could go any other way, you know? Like, it felt like we were all out of like hat tricks from the antagonist, you know? So I had like 8 chapters left of Tragic Bonds. 100% enjoyed this. This was so good. And then I had the entirety of Unbroken Bonds to work on, and I had a great time. It was great action, fun world. Well, not really fun world anymore, because at this point things are much darker, but I love all of the side characters, and I also enjoyed the smut. So there's that. These were such a vibe. I love the series down. The series has really kept my brain just going over the last like month and a half. I'm going to do a full review on the Bonds That Tie series by Bree, so be on the lookout for that. I gave book 5 4 stars, gave book 6 5 stars. So yeah. I had 2 audiobooks that I finished in their entirety. The first one was The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. I've heard a lot about Freida McFadden, and so I just wanted to try to like get into her writing, see if I like them. And so I figured I would start off with The Housemaid. It came off of Libby like way sooner than I thought it would. So I went ahead and started reading. And for the most part, I enjoyed it. The Housemaid is literally what it is. We have a young woman who is recently out of prison, recently lost her last job, and at this point she is truly struggling. She's living out of her car, and she's trying to find work, but obviously as a former felon, or as a convicted felon, someone who's just getting out of prison, it's been very difficult for her to find work. So she sees this ad for a live-in maid, and she decides, let me just try it, see how things go. She shows up to the interview. The lady is really nice, and you know, she's basically giving her all the confidence in the world that this will work out. And even though she feels deep down, once they do her background check, it's not gonna go well. It does, but once she gets hired, she realizes that some of the shit is like really creepy. They have a groundskeeper who was looking at her all crazy and is looking at her like, bitch, you need to get the fuck out of here. Her bedroom is like this weird bedroom up in the attic that only has like one window and locks on the outside, not on the inside. It's weird. And as soon as she starts her job, old girl who was real nice in the beginning starts acting real funny. Yeah. Overall, I felt like it was good, but as someone who watches a lot of Lifetime murder mysteries, it felt kind of predictable to me. So I think I gave it like a 3 or 3.5 stars overall. It was entertaining to read, and even though I guessed the plot twist, you know, there were still some things that surprised me and like some of the ways that things have played out. So overall, I enjoyed it. I know that there's a book 2 to that, and I'm interested to see how it goes, because the way that they left things off from book 1, you know, yeah, I can see where she's going with it, so I'm interested to see how the next one goes. And then the last book I finished was How to End a Love Story by Yuling Huang, and that was a weird one for me. There was just a lot. So this is supposed to be contemporary romance. I felt like there were a lot of things that worked, but they didn't work together. So we have Helen and Grant. At the beginning of the book, we are introduced to the tragedy that connects these 2 characters. Grant was the unfortunate person whose car Helen's younger sister ran out in front of and hit. Helen's baby sister took her life via running out into the street, and Grant was the person who hit her. And when we are introduced to the 2 of them at the beginning of the book, Helen is at her baby sister's funeral, and Grant shows up to try to make amends, and basically the family is like, get out, we never want to see you again. Her entire life, she has been struggling with his role in her baby sister's death. The crux of the story happens years later. Both of them are writers. Helen is a novelist and Grant is a screenwriter. Helen is a well-known YA author, and she has been optioned to have one of her books adapted into a TV series. And so she takes this opportunity. She moves out to LA. She's super excited until she gets into the writer's room and finds out that Grant is on the writer's team for her new show. And that is how all of this starts. They go from Helen vehemently hating him and Grant struggling with his inner feelings, the inner agony and turmoil that he has of being someone that was involved in that situation. They go from that to Helen vehemently hating him and him being generally annoyed with her, to him just dying to get her, to accept him and to just give him a chance. And then next thing you know, they fucking. Like, it was all so... I was like, how did we get here? Like, sis, you hated this man. And the next thing you know, you're trying to stop yourself from, like, just rubbing and dubbing all over this dude. Like, girl, how did we get here? And then you have the layer of the cultural dynamics and differences between Helen and her parents. Helen has a very difficult relationship with her parents, on top of the tragedy that has really kind of caused a rift between them. They've never been the lovey-dovey type of family. And Helen has always struggled with the way that her mom treats her, her dad's kind of passivity to everything. And all of it comes to blows with this, especially considering that they still hold this enormous grudge for Grant. And this is now the man that she is falling in love with. I feel like while the author did make a point in that love, relationships, family, and healing, nothing is linear and none of it ever truly makes sense. It doesn't happen the way that you expect it to. I feel like these different things of this like heavy, steamy, spicy smut juxtaposed with this catastrophe of feeling between Grant and Helen in the death of her baby sister, healing on both ends, and then also throwing in the issues with Helen and her parents. It was just too much. It was sensory overload, and by the time we got to the end of it and I realized it wasn't exactly the end of it, I just wanted it to stop. It was not an awful book by any means, and I think all of the pieces of the story Kwong did well. It's just, I don't think all of those pieces belonged in that one story. I think it was too much. Like I said, it was sensory overload. It was a lot. And I just couldn't. So, that was How to End a Love Story. I ended up giving that a 3 stars. But given what was there, I am very curious to see what other additions Kwong will add to her repertoire, because I enjoyed what I enjoyed. So yeah, I don't know. It was a weird read. It was a weird read. But overall, I felt like the things that I read were enjoyable. Not too bad. 2 3 stars and 2 in the 4 to 5 star range. Not bad at all. Now let's talk about what I did not finish. Y'all, this book is thick. And there is a lot going on. January Rayne's world building is beautiful, but I had to put it down because whenever I thought I had gotten far, I realized I hadn't, and it was stressing me out. Overall, I am thoroughly enjoying this book, and I plan to get back into it this week. So this will probably pull up in the next reading vlog, because I really do want to get through this, and things are really like heating up as far as the journey of it all in this book. But I found myself, just my brain gravitating towards other things. And like I said, this is a chunker. This is over 600 pages. So, you know. And then we had Dark City Omega. Like I said in my last update, really enjoying this. But I will say the push and pull between the two main characters was just starting to just annoy me just a tad bit. So I went ahead and I put it down. We have our Berserker, Adam, and our Omega, Echo. Echo is on the run. She was formerly a beta. In this world, everyone is born a beta. And then they ascend or descend into other ranks. And so she discovers that she is an Omega. And when we meet Echo, she is currently on the run. She is running through her world, trying to get away from these alphas that are chasing her, because she knows that if she is caught, she's basically going to be turned into a breeding mare. And they will use her for what's in between her legs and whatever powers that she may have, even though she believes herself to be a powerless Omega. While she is on the run, she ends up encountering a Berserker. Berserkers are above alphas. So these creatures actually do shift. Berserkers actually do shift. They are huge wolf-like creatures, not lichens at all. Definitely different from what I have read as far as like werewolves, Omega, all that stuff goes. She encounters this guy. They kind of fight to the death of it, but he ends up marking her. And the mark doesn't fully take, but the mark does awaken her powers. And so these two essentially end up stuck together. She absolutely is terrified of him and has this hatred for him because of what she believes he wants to do to her. But she does not realize and does not know that Adam is like fully infatuated with her. He is like, I want to give her everything. Like, I just want to give her snuggles and keep her safe and keep her warm and love her. And right now, Adam is absolutely failing at all of those things. So far, I am enjoying it. It definitely has started to get spicy, but there's a lot going on here. And sometimes I find myself needing to just take a minute to kind of process everything that I'm reading and really make sure that I am grasping the world the way that Stevens intended. So far I'm enjoying it. I can see myself finishing this over the weekend. After I took a little bit of a break from it, I think I'm definitely going to be heavily working on this weekend. And then last but not least, I am so happy that I went ahead and started reading this. Lore of the Wilds by Analeigh Sbrana. Y'all, this book it's whimsical yet dark. It just has everything that I love in a fantasy novel. And I love that so many of these characters are very obviously black and brown. This follows our girl Lore. Lore is a human, and she has been living in a group home since she was a young child, and her parents were killed by the Fae. Here, everything is human versus Fae. Humans are at the bottom of the totem pole, and the Fae have basically taken over and made it very clear that they are fine with humans basically being extinct. When we are introduced to Lore, she is working in the apothecary that she runs with who she calls her auntie, who is the woman who takes care of her, who took her in at the group home. She has this strange encounter with a group of obviously noble Fae that come into her shop and start asking questions about her aunt and her ability to read. After this encounter, there is a massive earthquake that causes insane devastation throughout her town. Buildings have been leveled, things are on fire, the group home has been destroyed, the apothecary has been destroyed. And the morning after this occurrence, she is met by sentries from the Fae who have come to once again look for her aunt. And she decides that she is going to go in her aunt's place. She's taken into the realm of the Fae. She's taken into their castle, and she is given the task of going into this ancient library that the Fae have not been able to get into. They have been wanting to go into this library and unlock all of its secrets, but there are special wards on that library that prevent them from being able to enter. And anyone who enters into it that is of Fae blood will be killed. So they think, let's get a human to go in here. We can send them in there, and if it kills them, they're expendable. So Laura decides, okay, if that's what I'm going to do, then I'm going to make it worth my while. So she bargains with the lordship of the manor that if she goes in, does this work, clears out the library, and hands over any materials that she feels like may be important to them, then they will go back to her town and give them aid and help them rebuild. She thinks that she's got everything under control, but she does not. She does not, because everything that she's been told and everything she knows is a lie. Right now, she and our male main character, Ash, are on the run, and I am loving this. I'm kind of like looking at where I am. I am on page 185 of the story, and I'm just like, is it just going to be this, or is this going to be a series? Because I feel like there's more to come. And then, like, I'm kind of trying to figure out, like, I see this other brother back here, but we've only been introduced to one important brother. So, I'm trying to figure out who this brother is. I'm nosy. But so far, I have thoroughly been enjoying it. There are parts of this that are cozy, but kind of creepy. Like this kind of tense mystery going on, but you still get that whimsy of the Fae. You get the trickery of the Fae. And I have just been thoroughly enjoying this. This has been such a beautifully written and enjoyable read. And I'm going to continue working on this when I get off camera. I have the feeling that I'm going to finish this tonight because this has been such an enjoyable read. Okay, so that is it for this reading vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is my first time doing like a full length reading vlog, not like a vlog within another video. So you guys let me know how you enjoyed it, what other things you may want to see during reading vlogs. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. You guys let me know what you have been reading this week, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.